A very good evening to all our viewers. Welcome to this edition of the Evening Review. My name is Steven Jabela, your host for tonight. Let's have a quick look at today's front page of Namibian Sun. Tonight, we are very excited to actually have one of the country's leading sports figures ever. Collin Benjamin is a former player for the Brave Warriors and also played in the Bundesliga. And, as a matter of fact, went on to play even in the European Champions League. Collin, welcome to the show, man.
So, thanks for having me.
Sure.
Excited.
Yeah, definitely. Tell me, everybody knows, because of the profile, your personal profile and the level at which you played, everybody pretty knows what you have achieved in the game of football. What is not known very much is what you've been up to since you actually hung up your boots. What have you been up to?
Yeah, okay. As a matter of fact, I hang up my boots season 2012-2013.
Yeah.
So after hanging up my boots, I stayed over in Germany, in Munich to be exact, till 2016, 2017. So I've been home pretty much from 2017 onwards. So what I did between that, I think it was actually just very wise to put the practical experience also to take that further. So I did my coaching license. I got my UEFA license, for example. I did it's called basically the equivalent of a sports management. It's called football management. It was directed on football.
Yeah.
I did in Munich in that time after retiring. Came home and home is home, and just saw that this is also an opportunity. So I've been involved. There's a few things that I do apart from the soccer, that's putting bread on the table. And it's been quite exciting. Yeah.
Indeed. Tell me, to what extent you've made a living out of football. I mean, people talk about wanting to become professional, and the highest we normally go these days, or we mostly go these days, is South Africa. And of course, I look at guys like Shalulile now and Dion Hoto, that you could see there's some movement in their lives. But you've played at the highest level there is. To what extent would you say you've really lived out of football?
In all honesty, it was way beyond my wildest dreams. I can make an example. For example, if we traveling to the European Games, I didn't, even though I'm Namibian and I'm non-European, there's places that I didn't have to show my passport. It's from the private jet into the bus to the hotel, the best of the best.
Yes.
And so with that, obviously, yes, there's a lot of responsibility, there's a lot of eyes on you. But yes, I honestly can't describe it in words. It's like I said, way beyond my wildest dreams, or even your wildest dreams. And like I said, you on that airport in London, Heathrow, you pass by and you come home at the Osaka, you get harassed.
Exactly.
So it's just to say that, it was really a level that, you probably have to be there to actually understand it. But yes, it's something out of this world.
Yeah, definitely.
And you're talking about the extent that I made a living out of it.
You're a rich man, you have sporty cars and all these things.
No, let's just say soccer's been good.
Yeah.
Soccer's really been good, and but I still think that certain things are not the things that should define you.
Yeah.
And I just, my being back home, just is probably an example. Or most of my friends are like, "Are you crazy going back to Africa?"
Yeah, yeah.
They don't even say Namibia. They don't even say the names. They just
Yeah.
like, "Going back to Africa? What? Are you crazy? This
Yeah,
and that."
yeah.
But I just feel that not certain things shouldn't define you, and I just feel that there's a greater calling back home, and what you achieved over there to probably try and plow back, and probably opportune the next one to probably go that level.
Definitely. I'm asking this question because a lot of professional footballers that Africa has produced, and they went to play in Europe, especially when you are young. In your case, you are a proper Katutura boy, just coming out of a normal, I suppose, normal Katutura family, and going to play in Europe, and there's so much that needs to be in place for you to succeed off the field. A lot of players would say, look, when I was young, I came from a poor family, there was no financial advice and stuff like that. So in your case, what kind of system did you have that sort of helped you to carry yourself in the manner that you did?
I think the first one and the biggest one is, I don't know how I'm going to put it in English, we grew up in your family house where the grandmother was the breadwinner to a certain extent. You at some point that, for example, your first 3 years of school fees were paid with tombo money, that the grandmother was having a little business at home. So those kind of things kind of like ground you. So for me, when I went over there, I remember my grandmother always used to say that Matiwanj tokaronga toikorange toupange nyokokuru. Back in the day, it was perceived to be, if you go to
the biggest thing,
the biggest thing, so it was something that was grounded in you, or for me, whether it was intentional from her or not, I don't know, but it's something that was in there. So it was like, still, otoikorange, I go to that place, work, and you have to come back, and you have to come heal, and so it was definitely that, and when I did have holidays, I think it was so easy to come home and be around all over the place. But you still had that family, you still had that grandmother, you still had the mother, you still had the auntie. You still go see them, and you have to go bring them a little bag of maize meal, a sugar. So that actually kind of kept me out of trouble, I would say. I am honestly not going to sit here and tell you that it was intentional, but that's what happened, and that's what actually kept me probably on the ground. And the one thing that I actually have to put on is, like, with all of that grounding, it was also very important for me to, if I'm going to earn some money and I'm going to, end of the month, have to send a $10 to my mom, I don't have somebody asking me, why do you have to send $10 to your mom? So I needed somebody from my place, from my home, that understand my culture, understand why I'm doing that.
Exactly.
So those are basically the reasons why I think it came this far.
Okay, and also let's talk about discipline in general. I mean, you went to Germany. You started, I think, in the fifth division, and you, within a shortest period of time, you went up to Hamburg. And then you were there for 10 years. An African boy, being in that team for 10 years at the highest level of German football, that is no mean feat. That's crazy. What kind of professional life did you live as a footballer?
When I went back, I went to Germany just after my 21st birthday. I didn't drink any drop of alcohol, for example. So it was just basically, people used to call me crazy. It was just that goal. So I went over there, and like I said, if maybe I went into the big leagues already in the first place, then maybe it might have been different. But like you just rightfully mentioned, I started in the 5th division. I would stay in a little room 5 times less than this one, smaller than this one, and it was basically a little room in the outskirts of the stadium, basically around the clock rooms. So we would stay there, and in the beginning, we'll play a match in the 5th division. Imagine, in 5th division, I drink water after training, and these guys are sometimes drinking beer, for example.
Beer is big then.
Beer is huge.
It's a big thing in Germany.
So, yeah, I'll be sitting there and drink my water, and yeah, I just lost it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that sitting in that little room, for example, we'll play a match, we'll win that match, and they'll bring me a TV.
Yeah.
The next match we play, and it's not so good, nothing comes.
Yeah.
Huh? What's happening here?
Yeah.
The next game we play, they bring you a little VCR.
Yeah.
So I at some point I realized that, you know, like when I do, it's basically performance based. When you do good, they bring something, some incentives.
Yeah.
So I actually knew how to. I went through getting your little apartment furnished because of performance.
Yeah.
So now I thought if I was, I'm thinking that if I was probably were to go into the big leagues the first time, because everything's coming. Because when I went into to Hamburg, the first team, you know, I didn't have to buy shoes, or for the next 15, 20 years, I didn't have to buy shoes. I didn't have to buy a jean. I didn't have to buy, probably I buy a watch. You know? You know, but a lot of things, once you make it, everything gets put on your back. You can imagine that everybody, whether TV, we get somebody delivering drinks to your house, for example. So everything gets done to you. But the German mentality is also you have to do something to do for nix cum nix.
Yes.
So I think that's actually also some of the reasons. And maybe if it was not in Germany, it would have been different. But I think, yeah, Germany also kind of really made me.
Indeed. How often did you engage with Razi? He was at
Werder Bremen.
Yeah, exactly. He was in Bremen. And I know that you, I mean, as compatriots, obviously you must have had some kind of relationship. And I remember also when you took a couple of years ago when you took under 20 or something team to South Africa, and he was sort of your assistant. I suppose it's because of your relationship that you've always had. How often did you meet and communicate during that time?
Before we left for Germany, I think Rashi left in '96. I went 2 years later. I actually wrote Rashi as a fan a letter from Namibia, from Windhoek, say, listen, my bra, wish you all the best, this and that. But, you know, in the end, you're like, hey, can send me a shirt.
Sure.
So at one of the national team games, he actually brought that shirt, and I appreciated that. So when I went over, it was really difficult to get hold of. You know, like if you become this professional there, you're in this bubble, it's really difficult to get to people. But eventually, we got to meet, and that was probably only a year after I left, or 6 months, let's say 6 months. So we kept contact, but these, you know, the schedules are not the same, so it was always a bit difficult to meet. But we did have that bond. It was, you know, I would always go, especially in the beginning when I was going through the difficult patches. He would always invite me to Bremen. I'll stay at his place. We'll go watch the matches, and you know, so I fell in love with that whole shebang around there, and yeah, so he's my brother. Yeah.
And you played against each other also.
It was, you know, like generally also Bremen and Hamburg is 100 kilometers from each other. So it's a derby.
Yes.
And I think we played 3 times against each other, and yeah, they were the better team then. But from those 3, I think we won 1 match, and yeah. So yeah, Rashi's been my brother from another mother.
Your children, you have children, I suppose? Do they are you having boys or girls? Do they take interest in sport? Is it something that you want them to do like you did, or is it like all of you celebrities, you like saying, no, I'll let them do whatever they want? Obviously, when your father has played at that level, you want your children to somehow go in that direction also.
So I'm not even going to lie to you. Yes, I have kids. I've got a daughter. I have a son. But yes, if he does, cool. But my son, he's actually he's a brains guy. You know, he doesn't do these things. But he does play a bit of ball. He can do it, and we support him as far as we can. My daughter, she's a swimmer. She's a basketballer. So for us as a family or as parents, it's very important for them to do sport. All our kids, my cousin, nephews, all of them, they have to do sport. Because I just feel that through the sport, there's just some kind of a drive that you develop through sport that can be useful for you in life. And that's why we actually we on them that you have to do sport. You have to do sport. And luckily, we're also blessed that these kids are actually also doing good at school. And if he does, well done to him. But he has to go his own way. And he's also a total different character of me. You know, he's outgoing. He's a bit sharp. And,
okay, no, very good. When you briefly coached the Brave Warriors, I think after Chan, when Maneti left, there was this. You even took the team to Kosafa, I remember. And there was this whole hype and excitement that you'll probably stay on for a longer period, and then you just sort of just gave up. I mean, we thought with all your experiences and having coached even in Germany and getting the qualifications, why did you decline?
It was actually simple. You know, at that time, we sat, and I think we're still in that, probably a bit further, but we're in that critical space as Namibian soccer. So now I felt that the leadership back then were looking at a solution for 3 months. And I'm thinking that, no, there's nothing we can do in 3 months. I think it's just fair, and probably also at the stage that we are right now, that, you know, we have to look at what is it that we want, how do we want to achieve it. We have to have a plan for that, and I think that was a bit not clear. So I felt like to do something for 3 months is not something that I want. It even takes away some authority from you as a coach. I'm going to tell you as a player, Dion, you have to do X, Y, Z. And Dion thinking, why should I do X, Y, Z? It's out of my comfort zone. This fool is only going to be here for 3 months anyway, so he can go. So I tried to explain that to the leadership back then, and and they rightfully said they're not in a position to do anything longer than that. And I respect it, and I just thought that I'm still as Namibian as Pap and Vlees, so it's definitely something on a bucket list. I will definitely, I think I have something to offer, and I think we have potential. It just needs to be nurtured and guided well, and I think if all things are equal, it's something that I will definitely want to do.
Yeah. And speaking of that, when I had the president of the NFA here, Ranga Ikali, was saying that the current technical team's term is ending end of this month. So must they look forward to receiving an application from you?
No, I think you know, with a lot of respect for the colleagues that's at the helm right now. So I think if it's out there in the public domain that, you know, we're doing this, I will definitely do that. I will definitely do that, and I'm not even going to shy away from it. I will definitely do it.
Definitely. Tell me about you also had these big ideas about sports development, soccer in particular. You just signed a 30-year lease agreement with the City of Windhoek last year for some activities at the Commerzorg Stadium there. What is that about? What exactly is that?
So if you look at, you know, I think for whatever organization or whatever project you start, infrastructure is definitely something that is major and key to it. So if you look around Windhoek and look around Windhoek, the activities of soccer, we have our stadium when the national team plays. We heard sometime that it was unfit for international for international games. Our Independence Stadium, it's also, we can't talk about that. That's actually a shame. And other than that, we don't have, except the ones in the suburbs that's owned by the clubs. So if in order for us, if we're going to say we're going to develop and Collin Benjamin or his team or whoever wants to take the next Mohamed Osep or Shalulile develop them in a proper way, we need the infrastructure. So that's why we engage with the City of Windhoek to do that. But I think and I hope that that deal is going to be going to be done soon, because as much as that contract was signed last year, we don't have access to the field. There's still nitty-gritties that needs to be solved, and the point is basically what we want to do is just have an infrastructure, a safe place for young footballers to come and nurture their skills. But we're not doing only the skills. We're looking at saying, we don't want what I call them clever boys. We want clever soccer players as well. Yeah. So we want a place, a center, and eventually what we're going to do is a center that's going to be built to house promising young footballers, where they, for example, after school come through, have their homeworks done, or get help to do their homeworks before they go on the soccer field. Because yes, Peter Shalulile can make $2-3 more than I can make, but if he doesn't know how to handle it, it's going to be not a good one. So we need clever footballers as well.
Indeed. Let's then talk about, there's so much going on now. The league is not being played. Every other day there's a new date being proposed, and there's cases at the arbitration court and all these kind of things. As someone that knows what football means to those who play it, especially younger ones who have long-term ambitions to say, let me be noticed locally, let me go to South Africa, or I end up going to Germany like Collin and stuff like that. What comes to your mind when you think of the current state of our football?
So, there's so much being said and read and this and that. It's beyond anger. It's honestly beyond anger. It's just that we live in a country where we're guided by laws, but in normal circumstances, if we were in Babylon or wherever, it would have been probably different, Yes. And I'm still saying that obviously I think the people that's in charge, there's a certain level of feeling towards the game. That's why, that is not being played, because in everything, we the two of us can have this fight, but why is, if we're going to think of who actually benefits from this, if our hearts are at the right place, we'll keep fighting, but we let this train move, and that's not what's happening at the moment.
Yeah, indeed.
So it's very sad.
It's very sad, because I'm thinking, if a situation like this was the case during your time, maybe you wouldn't even have gone where you went eventually, because there was no game being played. You are not playing football. Your whole dream would have been thrown out of the window.
If we're being honest, anybody in Namibia right now between the age of 23 or from 23 onwards, as much as it's very hard to say, you're not going to turn professional.
Yeah.
You're not going to. So now, if soccer is not going to start within the next year, that means everybody under 23 is going to be 22.
Yeah.
Also gone. So is that what we want? We just had a very good, a team with full of potential at the Nations Cup first. We're doing so many first things. It's a lot of potential that we're showing. So you're asking yourself, those boys that went to Mauritania, I think they did well. If we don't start soccer in the next year, those ones are also out.
Yeah, precisely.
It brings me to something that I actually want to say. Yes, it's leadership.
Yeah,
definitely. It's all of them are people that I know. We're good with each other, but I think that the problem in this is that the new leadership came in. There was a leadership that was not doing. It was not well, or it was deemed not to do well, and that they were removed. So now what's happening right now is what I call the art of war. We have allegiance towards a common purpose.
Yeah.
So now we're going towards that common purpose. There's a price for it. So we all go, we utilize all our resources, powers, materials, whatever it is that it may be, and we go for that enemy that we're fighting. So now we fight that enemy, we defeat that enemy, and then we have the prize.
Yeah.
What do we do? So I can actually put that in the context of a lot of African countries. You know, we fight for independence, we fight independence, we fight for independence, then we get the independence. What happens after that?
Yeah, yeah, precisely.
Most of the time, civil wars would break down.
Yeah, yeah.
There's going to be a coup d'etat. There's always, because when we were fighting, we had this allegiance, we had a common cause.
Yes, yes.
But now we've got the prize. We did not discuss and we did not put things in place to say how we're gonna take it further when we have the prize.
Indeed.
If I put it now in context of our leadership right now, the NFL, I think the current leadership under Mr. Ikali, they did actually well in a sense that, you know, we don't hear about money squabbles within the FA. I think all the creditors have been paid. The national team, the CAF, the senior national team's been playing all their matches. And to what I heard, the government, you know, normally subsidizes, and that they've been carrying that bill. They went to Chan. The under 20s went to Kosafa. They went to, I mean, this is so great. We went to at the pinnacle of African football in youth. That is major. We went there all on our own. So they're actually doing something good off the pitch.
Yeah, that's
But where does it count?
Yeah.
On the pitch. So now all of that is going to be null and void if we don't start that soccer soon.
Indeed. Thank you for that very insightful comment there, Collin. The last question then is about I know that you are trying to do a lot of things, especially your involvement in the youth game. And I just learned also that you are supporting a new soccer show that will be broadcast on One Africa TV. What is it about, and what is your involvement in that?
Yeah, the show that is going to be broadcast on One Africa TV from now on, we actually started already last week. Okay. 18:30 on One Africa is basically the Hopsol Youth Soccer League show. So it's basically that youth league. We've got players from under 9 till under 19. We've got a total of 1,800 players that plays in our league in the different age groups. So what we put in place there with our team, they've really been doing a good job, is that we got this deal with One Africa that we can further expose these boys. These boys, the exposure they need is we think that it's going to enhance and better them. It's going to give them motivation, because hey, people are going to watch me. Yes. I have to give responsibility. Yeah. I have to be responsible now, accountable for. So that we feel that with them being on TV will make them want to work harder. Definitely motivation, and then the exposure, where we're saying, you know what, the scouts normally don't come to Namibia, but at some point, maybe they look at a young Toivan Jabela there and say, oh, he's not doing so bad. Let's invite him over for a trial in Cape Town or Joburg, wherever, you know. So that's what we're doing. But we're also doing it on a very, very low budget, for example. Yeah. But it's still, I think, something revolutionary. We're a youth league, We're a youth league. We're just playing in Windhoek. We're trying to go over in the regions. And I think for us to have managed that we can actually put our little show, our little organization on TV, it's really great stuff, and we're looking forward to. And there's a whole lot of things that's coming through with that program as well. So now we're actually really excited.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No, keep up the good work, man. Particularly in that space of youth development, I think you're doing a great job. And all these initiatives, including the Commercial project, I wish you the best for that to come through.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Sure.
All right.
Thank you. That was Collin Benjamin, Namibia's former ex-professional footballer who played for so many years in Germany, and of course for the national team, carrying the Namibian flag so proudly. Talking to us, of course, about his life post-retirement and what he's been up to lately. Thank you for watching.
If you're feeling how I'm feeling, and you know I won't stop. All we gotta do is take our love to the top. If I got it and you want it, and you'll never let it drop. All we gotta do is take our love to the top. I will ride for you, baby, even die for you. When I'm loving you, but my heart don't stop.